Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Spa Business Mastery Podcast. And today's topic is how to create a stellar spa team handbook. In fact, I'm going to even refine that a little bit more into what's the actual key ingredient to a stellar staff handbook. Now, I've been on the bandwagon about staff handbooks, operations manuals, spa manager manuals for a while because I see that many of you, dear spa owners, are really struggling with your leadership. And part of that issue is not having some of those key manuals for your team available. So, what ends up happening is you end up having all of your processes, all of your policies up in your head, and you're relying simply on verbal conversations, cues for your team to follow direction. And if you are looking to scale your business, you need to start operating your business in a more efficient and effective manner. So you might have heard the phrase, what got you here won't get you there. And this is absolutely true when it comes to your leadership and your team. And many of you wonder, like, oh, how can I get better at my leadership? How can I get my team to listen to me? How can I get my team to understand why things are important? Well, the first step in that is to have many of those things documented. So today I'm specifically talking about your spa team handbook. Now, if you haven't heard my podcast prior to this about the difference, like what is a spa team handbook, the handbook is a document that outlines the policies of team behavior, how you want the team to behave in terms of between them and leadership, between them and their peers, and them and their clients. And so all of these policies need to be in one spot, and the team members need to have gone through this document, understand it, ask questions and clarify if they don't understand pieces, and then sign at the end of it. So let's talk about as far as what is in a spa handbook. Okay, well, there's policies in there. That's primarily what's in there. You don't want to put many procedures or protocols in there. That's more of your ops manual, your operations manual. And the other piece I wanted to share about your spa team handbook is that there are some limitations with it. So the spa industry is a model that has a couple of different types of business models. So you may have a team, but they may be all independent contractors. So we also have to abide by our labor laws, our state and provincial labor laws. So if somebody is an independent contractor, they are not an employee, and you cannot make them act, behave, do in a very specific way. If that's what you want in your business, then you have some thinking to do about perhaps switching them over to an employee-based model. So you can still have a team handbook for independent contractors, but you have to understand that you can't enforce any of this with those independent contractors because they're not legally bound because they're not an employee. All right, so staff handbook. If you don't know what needs to go into a staff handbook, then I do have an outline of my own, the template that I have. And I've shared, it's a free download, and there's a link there'll be a link in the show notes and on Facebook Live and in YouTube, wherever you are finding this. There will be a link in there to be able to download the outline of my staff handbooks, just so at least you know what should be in it. Now, you may not know how to phrase some of the policies in there, but at least you'll have a starting off point if you want to create your own. Now, what is the key ingredient in a stellar staff handbook? In my opinion, it has to be your business values. Now, I am a huge proponent of spa owners being super clear about what their business values are. What are your professional values? In fact, they are very much in line with your personal values because, for those of us that have been in the spa industry for a while, we don't get into this business to make a buck. We get into this business because we have a passion for connecting with people, changing people's lives, helping them feel better about themselves. So it is absolutely critical that spa owners be very, very clear about what their spa business values are. Now, I urge you to not be general with this exercise because anything that's general, whether it's marketing or values or whatever, if it's too general, it's too vague and people cannot connect with it. So if you have not done a values exercise before, then I absolutely urge you to dig into that. Very easy to do. There's lots of PDFs online. Just search, business values or personal values, and come up with a PDF or a list that's got at least 200 in there. And what you want to do is to circle your top 20 values. Like, this is a way to start whittling it down to your top 5. Circle the top 20 values in that really big list. Then go ahead and take a pen and star the top 10 values out of that top 20 that you have. Then what you're going to do, take a highlighter, and you're going to spend some time really thinking about what are my top 5 values out of the 10 that you starred. So once you've come down to figuring out what your top 5 values are, then you need to start making some notes about how does that relate to clients? How does this value relate to the team working together? How does this relate to the team in terms of attracting aligned new team members? Because again, this is like the secret sauce in business is values, values, values. It's how you attract aligned team members into your business. It's how you attract aligned clients. And in terms of your leadership, having clear values means that and having them in your handbook means that your team understands what the business values the most, and that every single policy and procedure that they do is all a reflection of those values. So definitely spend time on discovering, developing what your personal, professional values are, and include that in your handbook. Now, if you download the free outline that I've given you a link to, you'll notice that you'll see the section where your values go into. Now, once you've developed those values, you can then turn those values into a company culture statement. Again, this is how having a company culture statement is like your mission statement. It's the internal mission statement. It's the statement that you and the team are all working towards all of the time. And it's how you can help your team members course correct when they start to stray off the path a little bit. Now, the other piece of a stellar team handbook is to also acknowledge that any policies that you have in there, they also have to align with your provincial or your state labor laws, because that is that's the line in the sand. You can't just create policies just because you want to, or it really bothers you that team members don't do or do a certain thing. You definitely have to still be in compliance with your labor laws. So if 2021 was the year that you are feeling like, okay, I need to get a better grasp on my leadership, and I really don't know what that first step is, I definitely would say start with your staff handbook. And it forces you to be very, very clear about what you stand for in your business and how you want your team to behave with you as leadership, with their peers, and with clients. Excuse me. So if you want to go at it and create your own staff handbook, go to it. I mean, it is a bit of a slog. I know that when I created my first handbook, it probably took me about a good 40 hours I clocked in. And this is why I've created a staff handbook template for you. In fact, not only have I created the template, but I've created a little e-course for you that includes a staff handbook template and also a walkthrough. So I go through every single policy to explain why you need it in your business, how some things can be adjusted, how some things cannot be adjusted or should not be adjusted. And it also helps, I also walk you through how to how to present this to your team. Whether you have an existing team that you're trying to clean up, or you are a solo and you're starting to think about, okay, I'm starting to think about building a team, growing my business in a team model, and you want to start off on the right foot, I would definitely recommend that you start creating your staff handbook. That's the very first place to start. So that particular e-course is ready to go. The link is in the comment. The link is in the show notes here. If you have any questions, please reach out to me either on social media or feel free to email me at kirsten@kirstenfoss.com. All right, that is it for today's Spa Business Mastery podcast. Short and sweet. Let's get organized about our leadership. I guarantee you will feel so much more confident about it once you have a solid spa team handbook in place. All right, until next time.